Messieurs, le ministre de la Défense nationale, l'honorable Peter MacKay. Ladies and gentlemen, the Minister of National Defense, the Honorable Peter MacKay.
Your Excellency, Prime Minister, Senators, members of the House of Commons, Mesdames et Messieurs, Reverend clergy,
ladies and gentlemen,
distingués invités,
distinguished guests,
général,
but above all,
membres des forces canadiennes et leurs
General,
familles.
members of the Canadian Forces and their families, I am pleased to be here to pay tribute
aux hommes et aux femmes
to the
des forces
men and women of the Canadian
qui ont fait de
Forces
notre mission
who made our
en Libye
mission in
un
Libya
fort succès.
a clear
Les
success.
Canadiens sont fiers
Canadians
de vos
are proud of your courageous
This
exploits.
is a moment in time for which all Canadians can be proud. The stirring music and words spoken, reverberating in this historic hall, adorned with pictures of previous conflict. And as the Governor-General rightly indicated, it was about people, protection, promoting of democratic values, and hope for a better life. And today, as in previous times, Canada stood ready to act, and our men and women in uniform, our finest citizens, to be the enablers for those aspirations, for that hope for freedom. This past spring, on March 21st, I stood in the House of Commons, the chamber next door, to describe how Libyans were under attack from their own government and how Canada, with allies, needed to help. And respond we did, with great success, thanks to the Canadian Forces. We helped our NATO allies and other partner nations defend human rights, confront a violent regime, and most importantly, help the Libyan people rise up when they needed us most. And while every member of the Canadian Forces involved in our mission shares the credit for its success, as well as the members of the families of the Canadian Forces who lead from behind, one particular leader has exemplified the best that our country has to offer. Lieutenant General Charles Bouchard, the effusive praise that you've received from our NATO allies, partner nations, presidents, prime ministers, generals, kings and queens, and all that has been spoken here today, all of which exemplifies the esteem with which world citizens hold you. It was my great honor to be with you in Halifax, where we heard similar words spoken on the weekend, and to officially welcome you home. So to General Bouchard and all of our fine men and women in uniform, I thank you. The Libyan people thank you. Canadians everywhere, thank you, and thank your families. You symbolize what is great about our nation. You symbolize what Canadians contribute to the world. And while we all have our favorite teams, and no speech here, Your Excellency, would be appropriate without a hockey reference. We all have our favorite teams. To Canadians, you are our team, and we thank you. General, those members of the mission, you led this coalition effort to protect innocent civilians with honor, with integrity, hard work, passion and compassion, and an unwavering commitment. These are quintessential Canadian values that define our citizens in this country and make our nation the envy of the world. For your leadership and focus, the Libyan people will be eternally grateful, and Canadians eternally proud. As we all know, Canadian Forces members are still working hard, both at home and abroad, as the Prime Minister said, in Afghanistan and other missions ongoing. And just as we rely on them to do their job with the highest standards and support, they rely on us to provide them with the equipment that they need to get these jobs done. Because we all know that the best way to confront the challenges of the 21st century are to maintain a modern, first-class military. And with the right equipment, leadership, training, our personnel can continue to lead the world, just as General Bouchard and his team of Canadian forces have done in Operation Mobile and Unified Protector. En terminant, Lieutenant General Bouchard, membre des forces canadiennes,
Bouchard, members of the Canadian forces, and all of those who took part in this ceremony,
laissez-moi vous dire
I want
merci.
to tell you a thank you.
Vous aurez toujours l'appui de notre
You will
gouvernement.
always have the support of our
Félicitations pour
government.
votre succès.
Congratulations on your
Bienvenue à
success.
Paris. Congratulations
and welcome.
on a job well done. And again, welcome home safely.
Thank you, Minister. Merci, Monsieur le Ministre. It is now my pleasure to invite the Chief of the Defense Staff, General Walter Nitinchuk, to offer remarks. J'invite maintenant le chef d'état-major de la Défense, le général Walter Nitinchuk, à prendre la parole.
General Walter Nitinchuk, to offer remarks.
Your Excellency, Prime Minister, speakers, senators, parliamentarians, leadership of the Canadian Forces, especially Lieutenant General Bouchard and his wonderful wife, Sylvie, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, families and friends. What a great day to be a Canadian. And what a proud day to be wearing this uniform. Just want to say that here we are celebrating the Canadian Forces in this beautiful chamber. And as has been said before, we have men and women around the world who are serving in an extraordinary way because the sun never sets on the Canadian Forces. And on behalf of all of them, I want to express my appreciation, my heartfelt appreciation for this celebration provided by the Government of Canada. A celebration to commemorate the operational achievement of all those men and women. C'est événement reconnaître le professionnalisme, le courage, le dévouement des hommes et des femmes de force canadienne. We live in a very uncertain world. And this past spring, when the United Nations called upon all nations to help the civilians in Libya, vraiment le Canada a répondu à l'appel en moins de 24 hours. And once the order was given, our sailors, airmen and women, and soldiers, many of whom are in this room right now, launched into action and were ready to commence operation within 2 days. The professionalism, the can-do attitude, but the disciplined approach to put the right force on target to protect civilians at risk, that's what success is all about. And whether you're the great sailor aboard HMCS Charlottetown, as has been mentioned before, it took risks that we have not seen in many decades, or indeed flying one of those great aircraft that we saw in that fantastic fly past just a few moments ago, or the hundreds of folks who supported all those aircraft on the ground, everyone made a contribution, made a real difference for the lives of the Libyan people. Et le succès de l'opération mobile est dû en large à la détermination, le leadership vraiment dynamique d'un grand Canadien. C'est vraiment Lieutenant Général Bouchard. And he could not have done a thing but for the love, the care, and the support of Sylvie, his wife, and his family. And I would just ask him to stand up and be recognized.